Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mania 7 Key World Cup 2026. We are rolling right along this finals weekend. Off the back of an insane tiebreaker match between China and Japan, we're into it for the next match on the schedule. It is going to be Indonesia taking on Peru to see who will be punching their ticket into the top four for a date against against Japan. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth this time around by none other than Raphael. How's it going, man?
Going great. This is gonna look to be another amazing match as well. Seed 4 versus Seed 6 is the battle of the flags with red and white. Peru had to go through the scenic route. They had to go through the lower bracket a bit earlier. Their most recent matches having been 6-2 against Venezuela and 6-1 against Thailand. Meanwhile, Indonesia already had to play the winners bracket match against South Korea. They got swept last weekend, so hopefully they will be able to try and bounce back this time around and not get seeding upsetted just like China earlier. This is gonna be very fun.
Absolutely. I think we were talking about this matchup on paper a little bit earlier before this match started. It's like, I feel like this one is going to be the true test of which of these two teams is really hitting their physical ceiling already. Yeah. I think you had alluded to the fact that Peru have a tiny bit less options available to them, the fact that it's a 3 versus 4. But that being said, I mean, they've done a really good job of putting their roster to good use in specific situations and coming away with some interesting breakpoints. That being said, against Indonesia, gonna have to see how that one plays out, though.
Yeah, Indonesia, they should be mostly sticking to LN and possibly some of the more LN heavy hybrids. They would love to avoid Rice if possible. As for Peru, they've kind of had like a jab at really everything so far. Against Venezuela, they picked LN, hybrid, EX, and then against Thailand, they only picked Rice. So they kind of shown that they can really go for anything in the pool. You know, in Indonesia, they are looking towards just kind of hitting harder on the LNs instead.
Yeah, true to form, potential Rice versus LN type match. And I feel like the EXs are going to be kind of like just bolstering one side of the pool or the other. That being said, I mean, the protects and the bans are going to give us a bit of insight. It'll be interesting to see if either of these countries pick or ban into their own preferred map pool as just a way of reducing the amount of like incredibly strenuous picks in this pool. We'll just have to wait and see.
As for the players to look out for coming off the semi-finals, it will be Rafko from Indonesia, 5th overall, and Shio from Peru, 4th overall, with 8 MVPs out of the 2 matches.
Yeah, just 2 anchors for their respective countries. It feels like they're constantly in for everything. It doesn't feel like there's a map that they're bad at, and even the ones that they don't feel comfortable on, they're able to swing very competitive scores on. And looks like Indonesia protecting LN4. Unsurprising there.
That's the inverse LN, if anyone's wondering. So yeah, true to form, they protected LN2 last weekend, but this time around they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. LN inverse is quite well known to be a very skewed skill set. If you cannot play LN inverse, you are going to die. So they are definitely going to get that one checked off in this match at least. And then Peru, they're going to be protecting Rice 4.
Alright.
Kojak!
Alright.
You love to see it!
You love to see it, but also, I mean, when you have stuff like Rice 5 and 6, if you want to keep more like technical picks on the pool, well, no, actually, Rice 4, understandable also because, I mean, they do have some of the best sharpshooters left in the tournament for Jack accuracy, so wanting to ensure that at least stays in the pool, on second thought, I can get behind it.
I mean, we've kind of discussed this. I think many commentators have also discussed about how jarring the Kojak pick can be. But if you're a team like Peru, you're definitely going to be banking on just having the consistency king of, I believe, Shio. Who's been just destroying Kojak maps this entire World Cup.
Yeah, Shiyu and then backed up with Divisa probably is just a very good team composition overall. And
Yeah.
Peru, unsurprisingly, going to remove one of the LN picks. LN3 going to be the decision
Huh.
here.
That's the density pick. Okay.
Maybe just not wanting to read through
Yeah.
all of those dense streams. It can get very dense at times and easy to get lost in. So maybe just wanting to reduce the amount of LN streams they're having to read through. So looks like I'm thinking that Indonesia is going to ban Rice 7 just based on Anta's comment here of Beyond. So yeah, Beyond would going to be removed
Okay.
here.
We will not have an inside joke in this match.
I feel like that inside joke is very outside right now.
Maybe.
Just based on the showcase, that was a
Beyond
was
the
an
joke.
experience. Yes. But all right, not having to worry about that one here. So unsurprising protect ban phase here. I think both countries knowing what they're wanting to play and not wanting to play. So from here, it's just a matter of what the teams decide to go into. Do they go for the protects early? Do they save them for later on? Do we maybe venture into the hybrid EX picks? But we'll just wait and see. Indonesia up to pick first here.
I doubt these two teams will be going with their protect first, especially knowing that the protects are LN Inverse and God Jack. I think those are two kinds of maps you do not want to open the match first.
Yeah. Very, very nerve reliant maps, and you want to kind of have them under control before diving into, especially the LN Inverse. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we save that for later on. Maybe just cap a potential capitalize off a breakpoint type of a pick, or a close out if they find themselves in that position type of a pick. But for right now, still waiting on the opening decision for Indonesia here.
I will say it's going to be any of the LNs that isn't LN4 to come out, so maybe something like LN2 or LN1 would be nice. Just kind of shake off the LN rust from Indonesia.
Yeah. If you don't go into something like LN4, would LN1 be a consideration just because of the fact that it's like a more release-heavy pick? Never mind. We're going to go just for consistency. LN5 going to be the decision here for Indonesia.
I had a 66% chance of being right and I was still wrong.
I mean, it could have been worse. They could have gone for LN4 right off the bat and just been
Yeah, and I'll be like,
wrong.
what?
Yeah. So,
okay, this is fine. This is understandable. So this is consistency.
Yeah, introduced into this pool. Now that we're at finals, a bit longer than some of the other LN picks in this pool.
A bit longer, yeah.
Yeah,
4
clocking
minutes.
in.
It's a tank.
So imagine a tiebreaker minus the Rice difficulty, and that's really what you get.
Yeah.
It tests basically everything. Like, do you have your fundamentals for LN in check, and just exacerbating that to a significant extent. As we wait for the players to check in, it's probably going to be Josia and Shiyu for Peru, and we see Rafko, unsurprisingly. We'll just have to wait and see who is going to back them up here.
Yeah, I was about to figure it's probably gonna be on Tabakasi.
Yeah.
This guy has just been one of like Indonesia's best 7k LN, or just I think LN in general, maybe not even 7k only. Just one of the best LN players in the world.
Yeah, very synonymous with 7 key. Also have seen him around in 4 keys, so just a overall general well-rounder to have on the team. And we've highlighted Raf and Shiyu, but when it comes down to these 2v2 situations, I feel like it's really going to come down to those supporting players that are going to be checking in, unless there's like a full team substitution, in which case that all goes out the window. But
Yeah.
we've seen it in semifinals as well, where it's like we had the anchors for each team, and it's just that supporting player trying to lend as much score as they can and like picking up the pieces. And that's really going to be the make or break point. Who can pick up the pieces best when the players we're looking at begin to falter because I mean, at this level, it's to be expected. These are incredibly hard maps.
Yes. We have to definitely stress this. It's finals now. These maps get really difficult. But for a map like this, when it's 4 minutes long, you really need experience, especially at the level that these players are playing at. She'll be finding the first drop, we're barely 100 combo in.
Yeah, thankfully very early on to avoid mitigating a massive score loss, but a second one to boot gonna make them lag considerably behind in terms of getting to that 400 combo cap, and Indonesia gonna take that to a 3,000 point advantage right out of the gate here.
Yeah, you might expect more, a larger lead for Indonesia, but it's 4 minutes long, so even though Peru did have the slight mishap from Shio at the start, it's really going to be nothing at the moment. As Onta Bakassi will trade it back, and you can see this lead shrinking very quickly, but Shio would trade it back out, and it will remain at 1,000 points as Josia finally drops the FC, and Shio will add to that. And now we see this lead starting to slowly go towards Indonesia's favor, but Onta Bakassi is finding some issues.
Yeah, it's the two misses from Peru, both their FCs being gone. The fact that Raf is kind of being left to their own devices here. Doesn't have the highest accuracy in the lobby, and not too far behind from that lead, though. The fact that Onta's training these misses back, and the fact that Peru can match the accuracy relatively well, the misses have been relatively clean overall, is preventing Indonesia from really skyrocketing with the lead. What it really comes down to is if Rafco can hold on, and they can't. They find the drop, and now the lead is starting to teeter a little bit. Another drop from Onta, and the lead could potentially swing back over to Peru. It is now in their control with 2/3 of the map left to go here.
Oh, and there's more trades at the bottom of our screens. Onta Bakassi finding a couple as Josia and Shiro both drop as well. And Indonesia have steered this lead back off Rafco's combo. And Josia finding another one means this lead resets back to 5,000 in favor of Indonesia.
Some pretty massive drops from Peru. The fact that Josia is hanging out below that 99% mark, onto not too far ahead of them, so able to keep them in check a little bit, but these misses are really starting to tally up here, and Indonesia taking full advantage. Rafco falls once again, and again, the lead starts to shrink, but the trades back from Peru help reestablish the advantage. 11,000, 12,000 points going into the last third of the map. This isn't safe by any stretch of the imagination, but it is the healthiest cushion Indonesia has had to work with this entire map so far.
Yeah, but it does seem that Peru is definitely going to be lagging behind a big amount towards the last third of this map, as Josia is picking up a lot of accuracy drops down to 98%, even though Indonesia are finding rapid combo breaks. You can see this lead, it has already grown to 25,000 points, and as everyone drops their combo, it's just going to give even more advantage to Indonesia as we now enter the final quarter.
Yeah, I think we've reached a point where, unless there are some pretty massive drops, I mean, people are dropping entire segments at times during some of these elongated runs on the LNs. The impact starting to catch on onto Bakassi a little bit here. The only one having a pretty significant issue during that transitional moment. Shiyu trading some of the slider breaks back, but it's still re-establishing itself. The fact that Indonesia constantly has at least one person with some combo to work with when the other starts to find their misses is keeping this lead relatively in check. 17,000 points with an eighth of the map left to go here. It's shrinking ever so slightly, but it might just be too little too late here for Peru.
There are still some bits remaining at the end of the map, but she will find the miss, and as long as Indonesia don't completely collapse, Onta Bakassi with a single drop, I think that should do it. This should be Indonesia's point. It looked a little bit uncomfortable as the lead shrunk from 25,000 to 17,000, but it is going to be a point nonetheless.
Yeah, very, very hard earned. I think the length of the map lending itself to some added stability for Indonesia once they kind of calm down towards the back half there. I mean, if you're Peru, you're never going to willingly pick into this map, but seeing the score difference might not be as demotivating as one might expect. Yeah, 17,000 points on paper looks like a lot, but imagine going into this match thinking you're just going to get absolutely whitewashed on every LN. So we've seen 20,000 points evaporate. That's within the margin of error that we're playing with here as they decide to go for Rice 3.
Yeah, it was going to be expected that Rice would be coming out. But we have fast court stream this time.
Yeah, 242 BPM. It's starting to get out of hand here. It gets dense at times. The chords become nigh illegible at certain points. It's to be honest, I don't know how people redo this stuff sometimes.
It's very draining as well.
Exactly. So we'll have to wait and see how they stack up. Yeah, gonna check in for Indonesia, and Josia and Shiu gonna stay in for this one in particular. Gonna see how they respond to that opening map loss. I think on paper Peru has a minor advantage. I don't count out Indonesia though. Like, Indonesia also very capable on Rice, but we'll just have to wait and see.
The fact that Peru is picking this first means, one, they are very confident on it, and two, they might be trying to probe into the weaknesses of Indonesia, seeing if, if fast court stream doesn't work, then, court stream itself might be a viable option later on.
Yeah, it really clears up the picture a little bit, knowing that they have Rice 5 and 6 in the back pocket potentially. So yeah, let's wait and see how they perform. Shiu with the opening drop though. Opening first 100 combo once again, not the start that Peru would have wanted. And on maps like this, it's like you kind of hope that this is a bread and butter pick for a lot of the players remaining in the tournament. So could backfire. Josia falls as well. No FC's left for the side of Peru as Indonesia take a quick 6,000 point advantage to his introduction.
Yeah, this could also be the effects of a 3-player roster for Peru. Shiu finds another drop. When you only have 3 players in your roster, you're not going to be making too many swaps, which means that the players of that roster will have to shoulder the burden of the maps even more so than if your roster had 4 players. So the fact that both Peru players did not swap at all going from LN to this means that they have to kind of transition into focusing more on Rice and more so on this kind of fast court stream and some of these transitional court jack sections. And you can already see Indonesia are looking extremely comfortable. Still 2 FCs, 99.5 is the lowest.
Yeah, this is looking a little ridiculous. There's still half the map left to go, but you don't have that cushion of recovery like a 4-minute map can offer you. This is shaving precious time off the clock here. It's still 10,000 points, and the fact that despite the misses from Peru, Ravco finding one now in the transitional moment into the back half, officially gonna shave off 4,000 or 5,000 points from that lead, and that's the precarious nature of a pick like this. Shiu and Josia have recovered their combos, they have recovered their accuracy, they are in prime position to strike on potential mistakes. Rav falls once again, yeah, the only one with a combo, or an FC rather, on the side of Indonesia. Josia trades that one back, a second one as well, gonna help reestablish the cushion here for Indonesia to work with, but it can teeter in an instant if they're not too careful here.
Yeah, into the final quarter, there's still gonna be some court streams left as Shiu picks up another drop in this kind of Jackie section, which is not what Peru need, because this is kind of the parts where you want to build that accuracy and combo back up as Shiu drops again. Now we're going back into that court stream, and Indonesia, they might just see it out. And off the incredible performance on, yes, they finally dropped, but it's not gonna matter too much at the moment. There has to be more. The lead does get cut back down to 10,000 points, but like I said, more needs to happen from Indonesia for Peru to reel this one back.
Oh, they are hanging on for dear life. The 200s to 300 rushes are starting to come out. Yeah, falls a second time. Josia trades one in the back. It's 6,000 points going into the outro. There's some chords coming through here. Gotta keep it clean through the exit. 4,000, 5,000 points.
Oh, Indonesia played with fire, but they came out alive. And guess who MVP'd? It was the player that did not play the previous map. This is kind of
by the narrowest
this is kind of
margins.
what's gonna happen. Yeah.
In that outro sequence. Oh no, sorry.
Oh, no, when you can have players just kind of swapping in and out, and then you can just have players prepared for a specific map. This is kind of what happens. But to be fair, really good fight from Peru. Shio made it really close. But yeah, just very small differences.
Very small differences. I was gonna say, in that outro sequence, you saw the couple of misses coming through from at the end as they were starting to like falter a little, like just really pushing to try and get themselves to the end. I think if Josiah doesn't trade that miss back at the end, it's maybe like 100 or 200 point win for Peru. It's so nip and tuck there at the end, but that's in the past. Indonesia manages to get a crucial break point to start this match off on one of the rice picks. And now it feels like they have maybe a little bit more options. They looked a little bit steadier on the denser or on the faster chord stream. Maybe Rice 2 becomes a possibility. No, EX2.
I mean, we're still sticking with the LN theme because this is the EX LN mixed pick.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of going with, Indonesia being an LN team and all that, but very interesting to see that the EX map is now out as the third pick of the entire match.
Yeah, taking a page out of Peru's book, it feels like, because I feel like over the last couple of tournaments, Peru has been that team to really push the physicality envelope, whereas like they'll go into years past would have been Hybrid 3, now going into the EX picks or just whatever was hardest on the table. And now Indonesia going for the hardest LN styled pick in EX2 means that maybe they're feeling a little bit more confident after those first opening maps and just wanting to really turn the screw a little bit here, really tire out these Peruvian players.
Yeah, and especially when you can have a player that can just kind of swap freely between these Rice and LN maps. You have Onta Bakassi back in, but Peru, it's going to be the same too.
Yeah, and at this point in the tournament, strain really does become a important thing to consider. So we'll have to see if Peru maybe slows the pace down a little bit, maybe falls back into some comfort picks, potentially something a little bit shorter as well, even potentially picking against what they're used to or what we've seen from them. But those are questions for later. They have a very hard LN map presented in front of them, a question being presented in front of them. Can they answer? Can they get that breakpoint back? Because for Indonesia, they're just going to keep sticking to this style of pick, it feels like.
Yeah, it definitely will be this style of pick. But something to point out as well, between Daisy Blue and this pick, there's almost a 1.5 minute difference. So at least Peru knows that the torture of LNs won't last for too long, and they can maybe capitalize on mistakes from Indonesia just like that from Rafko and Onta right at the start.
Oh, how the tables turn. The opening drops coming through from Indonesia. Shiu finally trades one in the back. Josiah falls as well. No FCs left on in the lobby here as everybody having a bit of a torrid time getting back up over that 400 combo cap. A few of them gonna start making their approach here onto finding another drop, but right now Peru holds the cards in this exchange. 6,000 points in their favor as we continue on here.
But these patterns are tripping up Josiah as Onta will trade it back. The physicality of EX2 is really biting both these players as Shio and Rafko will drop. No one has combo in the lobby. And we go into the second segment here with the dubstep portions with all of these sweeping LN patterns. Everybody dropping combo. So this lead is gonna seesaw for a while.
There's so much to consider on these sections. It's just sweeping staircases, double stairs, just the whole gamut being thrown at you with no room for error. We get into the calmer section, just a bunch of anchors, pseudo inverse happening here. Josiah being taken for a bit of a ride through that section. Everybody else above that 400 combo cap. Importantly, Indonesia having some free time, getting full credit for their scores here. Gonna amount to a couple thousand points as Josiah finding yet more drops here. The impacts coming through. Nobody getting tripped up as we transition into the last quarter of the map. It is 7,000 points now for Indonesia to work with through this outro.
Yep, into the Ki we go. The first 3 to 4 is everyone but Shio. Which means Peru have a chance to pull this one back in their favor as Onta's picking up more combo breaks. 2,000 points, it's a couple hundred, it might blink blue now. Peru, they could see this one through, but the ending could get quite violent. Josie and Onta will trade, but Onta picks up a couple more.
Oh my goodness, these trades are working out in Peru's favor. Shiu is hanging on. The last couple of, oh no, the transitional moment. Oh god, a full combo reset on the side of Peru. And all the trades coming through. Gonna be enough at the end. That is 6,000 points in favor of Indonesia at the end.
I had to notice that Shio had 2,000 combo and then Peru's lead snapped like that.
You had to notice it. I had to say it. Oh dear lord, that...
The emergency button has been pressed. Rice Force coming out now.
No hesitation, that is break glass in case of emergency. I mean, to be fair, while you're playing, you probably don't know what's going on, but if they look at that one back, they're gonna be kicking themselves for how that ended. Shiu holding the hopes there to try and wrench it back in their favor. Just... oh, if that song were just maybe like 10, 20 seconds shorter. But they're showing flashes on these LN picks. They're not getting blown out of the water on them. It's just hanging on till the end. But we focus back on the Rice. Rice 3 didn't work out in their favor. That's a big blow for Peru. Rice 4 has been kind of their panacea in moments where they're just able to show off their stuff. And I mean,
it's Kojak.
it's Kojak.
I don't know what else we can really say.
It's so volatile. It's so many things can go wrong. It is a little bit longer in comparison to some of the other Kojak picks we've had. Close to 3 minutes. There might be some room for recovery, and when it gets to this BPM, this level of density, I imagine there's gonna be trades at some point. I'm trying to speak it into existence before I see a full lobby FC somehow.
Oh gosh.
I would actually leave.
I will lose my mind for a 4-way FC in this lobby on finals Kojak, because I mean we will see. It's seat 4 versus seat 6.
Yeah.
Possible.
Just
don't miss in the first 100 combo shield, please.
I mean, to be fair, they did a good job in the last map. They weren't the first one to miss. So maybe settling in a little bit here as we get this one underway.
But this is essentially Peru saying that we need our momentum back. We need a point on the board at the very least. So let's see if Peru can finally get themselves on that board. As we now transition into the first main segment of the Kojaks right here. We'll see some triple jacks as well. These are going to be the patterns that's going to trip up some of these players. Ravco's going to be the first to fall instead.
Yeah, this is just lock in and don't flub a note. Don't think, just do. And right now, everybody is near dead center 99.9s on the bottom of the lobby. Shiu and Yeah just going at it versus each other. Josia and Ravco holding up the fort on the top half of the lobby. Josia winning that battle by virtue of holding on to the FC, as opposed to Rav, who found that earlier drop. Doing very well to recover, but losing some accuracy in that recovery run. Josia finally does fall. Shiu falls as well. That's not who you wanted to see miss, and now the lead is in jeopardy. It's inside of 1,000. Josia finds a second one, and the lead immediately transitions on over to Indonesia. That 99.94 from Yeah, towering with the FC.
The miss from Shio was clean, but Josia picked up multiple misses. And that is why Indonesia have this lead now.
Third of the map left to go. Only one FC
Ravco's
left in the lobby. It's faltering, but they're holding on to combo. They're able to stave off Josiah here. The fact that Josiah took the more massive tumble. That being said, oh my goodness, it falls apart there for Raph. Going into the last quarter, it is now 6,000 points in favor of Peru, but Shio finds yet another drop, and now it's in jeopardy once again. We're playing this game of tug of war for the second time in this map. 3,000 points. Josiah falls. Indonesia in a prime position to take advantage. Rafko trades it back though.
Shio find a miss, but it's really off the back of dropping accuracy. But Shio will find another drop. Peru cannot drop more. This lead has shrunk, and this lead has swapped. Indonesia, they take it back. And Shio will both trade. Will this be enough for Indonesia to hold on to a second straight break point? But Rafko will drop by the end. And Peru, they might have found a lifeline. The point is theirs. Oh my goodness.
Yo, my heart can't take this. Yeah, what is that score? 990k.
Again, the judgments speak for themselves.
Excuse me? What are we doing here, guys? Oh my goodness.
I love Kojaks. If this isn't like the best advertisement for like Kojak maps in World Cups are the best thing ever, the best thing to ever happen, this is it.
Yeah, this... that was...
holy...
insane. Oh my gosh. Alright. Everybody take a deep breath. Y'all might have been used to second ban phase happening after the 4th map. Because of the size of the map pool, it is now after the 6th map. So we're going to continue on here. 2 more picks before we get into the second bans. It will be happening. I imagine more of the same. An LN ban and a Rice ban coming our way. It's just a matter of what both teams decide to play. In the meantime, it might be a time to get the potential ban that might be targeted out of the way. Just play it so it doesn't get banned against you.
For Indonesia, it's definitely going to be either LN1 or LN2. If they want to play it risky, hybrids are available, but then again, why would you go for hybrid where you can just pick an LN first and then, you know, once the secondary bans come in, you at least played one of the LN. There we go, LN2 is coming out.
Yeah, so I think that all but relegates LO1 to getting banned for Peru, so...
yeah, for sure.
I mean, they could throw a curveball, but I don't think with the way the other maps have gone, like I said, it'd be a completely different story if they were getting absolutely blown out of the water on the LNs. But it's just been those endings that have been the undoing. They've been in positions to take advantage. We're going to see T Visa check in for this one and on to return, unsurprisingly, for this LN2 pick.
Yeah, we finally see a swap from Peru. We'll see if they can make it count. This is the LN coordination pick. This one's gonna be heavy on the shields. So, very trippy.
Very trippy, and not the longest map in the grand scheme of things, just average length for the players to go through. 3 minutes, for in my eyes, is that like sweet spot map length where early drops can be recovered from, but make one too many and it becomes a bit more of a hill to climb, if you know what I'm saying. But
yeah. I think it also helps that the OD is 5. I think this is the lowest OD of all of the LN maps. So there is a little bit more leeway when it comes to dropping accuracy, perhaps even dropping combo.
yeah, so for right now, waiting on things to get underway here. And I mean, as things stand, we know that Indonesia is going to keep picking into these LNs. They're probably going to have to dive down into the hybrids before too long. They do have some pretty decent options. Does EX3 become a consideration as well for them later on down the line?
I think it's really hard to say because it also really depends on Indonesia's second player being able to keep up with essentially grand finals pool. And like, sure, maybe you have Rafco that's really pulling the strings, but then Indonesia's second player might also be having some trouble keeping up. But then again, you also have Peru, their situation of whether or not they can keep up as well. So you're just kind of having a shot in the dark if we're going to go for EX3. I was thinking more of the hybrids if you're just wanting to play a little bit more safe, maybe hybrid 1, especially since that one's more LN oriented of the three. But we'll see when that happens. We've got to get through this one first. A little bit of an accuracy struggle from Divisa at the start, but Onto Bakassi will be the first one to drop combo. But both players of Peru already resetting their combo, so it's only Rafco alive with the FC.
As you say that, everybody, a full lobby reset effectively.
Yeah.
2 players above that 400 combo cap, some trades back and forth. It's keeping this lead in check for Indonesia. Still holding on to a 5,000 point advantage, but once again, Peru's just been in and around with a shot to take advantage of these potential drops from Indonesia. They have been occurring. They haven't been maybe the cleanest performances, but they've been doing enough. I said it last week, and teams were just throwing their bodies over the line just to get the map finished, and I think we're seeing that come to fruition here, where Indonesia's been an inch ahead at the crucial exchanges as we transition into this next portion. 3/4 of the map still left to go here. 3-way miss. Rafco onto full combo reset for their side. Divisa finding a multitude of misses to help keep this lead in check. Shiu falls as well, and now Peru trades back that full combo reset, and it's 14,000 points in favor of Indonesia moving into this next section.
Yeah, I can definitely see the difference between these two teams in that Indonesia's drops aren't as volatile as Peru's, and especially with the inconsistency from Divisa as they manage another miss again. This lead will still stay 5-digit way towards Indonesia's favor. Although the accuracy from Shio doing wonders for Peru to try and get themselves back into this map as Onto Bakassi finds a drop right before the next transition, and both players of Indonesia dropping this lead. It's completely disappeared, but Peru, they find 2 drops, Anta will find a drop themselves, so this lead, it will slowly go again as Peru, they are finding a multitude of drops. 15,000 all of a sudden.
It's the fact that Onta's accuracy is climbing back up to that 99% range, while Divisa falls into that low 98% range, was able to get Indonesia the cushion that they really need, because it was looking really dicey through that last section. So a quarter of the map left to go. A bad section here could swing things back around. Onta being the one to fall, Shiu falling as well, but they have the highest accuracy in this lobby, so once they get back with that 400 combo cap, it's basically back to business for them. They just have to avoid the trades as Rafco begins to fall here. Double misses from the side of Divisa and Raf. Once again, Onta falls as well. It's back down to 10,000, 9,000, 8,000. It's starting to fall back to the side of Peru. Is there enough time? Shiu falls, and that might be the crucial miss here at the end. 4,000, 3,000. Onta, you've got to hold on here, man. Less than 2,000 points left to go here as we make it through this outro section. Can Indonesia hold on? Onta with another massive miss, and the lead swings back over into Peru. Can they hang on to capitalize on the miss here? Divisa, Rafco falls, and Peru take the break point at the end. 3-2 now.
Yo, what? 39 200s. That is almost half of Onta's. And that basically saved Peru. That's the break point they needed. We got ourselves a match, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my goodness. These two, like I said, these teams are just tossing their bodies over the line. Shiu, the MVP there, well deserved, just hanging on for dear life at the end.
Yeah, it's really just kind of like Divisa just having to miss less, and then Indonesia, both of them just having to miss less as well, and then Shiu just kind of having to hold on to the accuracy, to the combo. It really looked like Peru were gonna give up that lead again. I was having flashbacks. But Divisa really held on when it really mattered, but also Shio's overall performance.
Yeah, just
and what?
Punching above their weight.
No way!
Alright.
EX3?
All right.
Oh my gosh!
All right, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I said 20,000 points was the margin of error. It's felt like. And Peru has been inside that margin of error. They just needed to keep those outros clean. And they could potentially capitalize. It's not my favorite pick.
This is such a risk.
But if they can get this, they close off one more potential pick from Indonesia. It's risky.
The thing is, this is right before the secondary bans. Why not go for Rice?
Maybe because they know they're gonna lose one eventually, and they fancy their chances. So it's like give Indonesia the pain of having to pick the poison that they go for. I imagine it's probably gonna be either Rice 5 or Rice 6. EX1 maybe for consideration. If it's EX1, then you're fine. You just keep going into Rice. But if they get rid of Rice 5 or 6, then you just have EX1. So, but still, like to your point, why not just go for Rice? But I love it. This is drama. This is chaos. Exactly. Just throw it out. Like you know the second ban is coming. Why not just do something out of left field? Just completely throw everything into chaos. And
this is like having a rice bowl, and then you're like, okay, I'm just gonna just have my cheese shaker, just gonna pour a little bit of cheese, and then the entire cheese bottle opens up. This is what this pick is gonna feel like for me. It's just gonna be a lot of nonsense for 4 minutes.
If there was a team that I would expect to do this, it would be Peru.
You know what? You're not wrong, because they did that against Venezuela.
They have the tendency to swing for the fences with these harder picks, and sometimes it works, but sometimes they hit that home run. Sometimes they just like ground out to the shortstop, and all's fine. But I mean, you never know. You can't go to the show if you don't buy a ticket. So this is their ticket.
Oh boy. This is the ticket that I definitely would love to purchase to watch.
Well, good thing for you, we have front row tickets.
We do have front row tickets. As does the 300 people watching on OS Live on Twitch right now. Getting to witness absolute cinema. We're not even halfway through this match, probably.
No, we're not even close to halfway done. Like I said, second ban phase comes right after this, regardless of what happens. For Peru, I imagine the obvious pick is LN1 to remove from the pool, force Indonesia into those hybrids. And for Indonesia, I mean, pick a litter. I mean, you can get rid of anything in the Rice pool. I don't see a world in which they get rid of Rice 1 or Rice 2. I could be wrong, given how Rice 3 went in their favor so handedly in comparison to what we were expecting. But, I mean, for them, it feels more like, let's just get rid of what we scored the lowest on.
It's either you fall back to basics, look at your plan, if you have any anyways, but I assume that these two teams have some plan going into this match, knowing that it's an elimination match. Or you could just go with a vibe ban, where it's like, I'm not feeling this map, I'm gonna remove it. Because it can definitely happen where, you just discuss with your teammates, and then your teammates are like, we're not feeling this specific map, so this map gets removed, even though maybe the score on it is actually better than other maps. It happens.
Yeah, in the moment, the feelings, kind of like going for EX3 here, it's like they're feeling something to go into this pick, as opposed to what we would assume they would go into. And looks like the timer has run out. We're gonna get the players back in the lobby. Josiah, Shiyu, Ravko, and gonna be in for this pick. Basically a mini tiebreaker. Maybe a sign of things to come. We've already had one this round.
We did.
But from this point...
Yeah, sorry?
No, I was about to say from this point forward, I don't know what to expect. These teams
I don't.
are these teams are starting to get rowdy, and all I know is that we need to buckle up.
Keep all limbs in the vehicle.
Yes.
It's also a really good thing that Indonesia did POC their timeout now, because I think they really desperately needed it, especially for a
Yes.
map like this.
Just a chance to recover, give Raph an opportunity to kind of stretch. Potentially, they've been in here for all 5 of these maps and
Yeah.
has been putting on a show, but everybody does need breaks. We saw Josiah get a well-deserved break with Divisa coming in, so we have to wait and see if that timeout works in Indonesia's favor. Stop the momentum, but a double miss on the transition into this opening KI section. Shiu trades one of them back, but Peru having the better start overall. 3,000 points as Josiah finally falls. Nobody left with a full combo in the lobby as we begin to see them get to work here.
We're gonna have to wait until all these players kind of stabilize a little bit to see how good their consistency is on this map. Because right now, it's just a flurry of misses everywhere. Accuracies are flying left and right. No one really has a sizable lead, but maybe as I say that, yes, picking up a couple more combo breaks means Peru's lead now 7,000 points to the good. So maybe we might see Peru slowly get away with it, but Jose will find that drop, which means this lead will shrink.
In all of these exchanges, 3 players are below that 99% mark. Shiu has been putting on a show so far. 99.2 for them to work with, and it's really helping keep this lead intact for Peru. But they start to find their misses as we continue on here, still keeping their head above water here. And the fact that they are a 0.25% ahead of their next closest competitor in Indonesia in Yeah means that they can hold on and nurse this 5,000 point lead, give themselves time to recover as Josiah and Yeah finding another trade. Shiu falls, but is traded once again by Yeah. 10,000 points for Peru to work with now.
Yeah, this is definitely where Peru would love to really be in amongst all of the maps thus far. 12,000 points as it does shrink a little bit and a full lobby reset in terms of combo. But accuracy-wise, Peru definitely favored for that, and you can see this lead still stuck. Growing as well as Yes picking up a couple more combo breaks. And now we go into finally a break section in this map.
Both Peruvian players are ahead in accuracy compared to their counterparts. It is 0.5% for Shiu to work with above their next closest competitor on the side of Indonesia. It is 22,000 points. Indonesia need to put something together here and fast. There's half the map still left to go. It gets plenty harder from here. Josiah trades one of the misses back. This is not safe by any stretch of the imagination. We've seen leads bigger than this evaporate before. Can Peru hang on with a third of the map left to go here?
This is gonna be the kind of map where Indonesia has to capitalize on the LN maps, the LN parts to the fullest. But both players dropping on the LN section, and Shio had a 2,000 combo before I spoke and they dropped, but Peru still holding pretty strongly, 30,000 points even though everyone is dropping again. The accuracies you can see, yes, tanking on accuracy, dropping down below 98%, and Ravco might be teetering right above that and finally drops below 98%. Peru, they might be combo breaking as well as Indonesia, but 45,000 points. Peru might actually run away with it.
It was the ace up their sleeve all along. The physicality element that Peru thrives on coming to full fruition here. What a way to get themselves into the second ban phase. They were looking like they were teetering to start this match off, but with an eighth of the map still left to go here, it is 55,000 points in their favor. The hardest map in this pool, bar the actual tiebreaker, the mini tiebreaker in EX3, is still their bread and butter, and they are riding it to full fruition to tie this match up. It is going to be 3-3 going into the second ban phase.
Oh my goodness, Shio.
No, that is ridiculous.
That is 32,000 points above anyone else.
Shiu literally just said, get in the backpack. I got you, man. We are getting this tied.
My goodness. We went from a best of 13 to a best of 7. And second bans will now come into play.
I mean,
I'm very surprised Peru's physicality is like that is unbelievable.
yeah. I mean, it has been their calling card in the last two tournaments. Just go for these hyper physical picks. Just force the issue on your opponent and just be cleaner. That was just a cleaner run from Peru. The fact that Shiyu could just overperform in comparison to the rest of the lobby, and the fact that based on what I'm seeing, that wasn't even close to a PB for them.
Yeah. You would think like a team like Peru would fall off soon enough, like Seed 6, 3-player roster, how far can you really go in terms of physicality? But they're really proving a lot of people wrong.
For sure. So, and again, into the second ban phase, Indonesia rolls the 52 to the powerful 3. Just a 3.
It's okay. It's not. The rolls don't count. I mean, the rolls do, but the rolls don't count in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, we already know what the bans are effectively going to be for Peru. So,
yeah.
Indonesia get a chance to do it first. I mean, we've been alluding to it the entire time. Rise 5-6 on the table, EX1 potentially if Indonesia just don't want to give Peru another very physical map.
I think EX1 might be on the table now, just in terms of physicality. Like, EX3 really blew Indonesia out of the water and into space.
Yeah.
So, EX1 might actually be in the discussions for a ban. And then for Peru, I mean, it's probably going to be LN1. I don't think it's really going to be anything else they would be looking to ban.
Outside consideration for like a hybrid 2 ban, but even then I feel like with how close Peru has been on the LN picks, I feel like hybrids just work in their favor in terms of like, okay, cool, it's like we've been hanging around on the LN picks, let's throw some rice in there to make it a little bit more uncomfortable.
It is quite interesting that we have not seen a hybrid map yet, but we should definitely be seeing one soon.
I think hybrid 2 is gonna be the ban. Interesting.
Okay. This was definitely not what I expected. I mean, this is this is the rice-oriented hybrid, sure. But that was definitely not in consideration, knowing that Rise 5, Rise 6, and EX1 were all open.
Yeah, those are... I mean... Maybe they fancy their chances in comparison to it. Maybe we were alluding to like the... We just don't vibe with it kind of a map pick. Maybe it's just the one that they scored the worst on of the remaining ones. But why would you want to pinch your own pool a little bit? But... I don't know. I mean, if I don't know. That was a question for them.
But yeah, Indonesia definitely should know the most out of anyone, really. And Hybrid 1 being banned out. I mean, again, this is the LN-based hybrid, so I guess it is slightly understandable. But I like how I just said we haven't seen any hybrids yet, and then the 2 secondary bans were both hybrids.
Now we're effectively we're effectively not gonna see a hybrid in this match.
Whoever picks hybrid 3, I'll give them support or trust.
watch Indonesia pick hybrid 3 now. Just completely
like immediately, just like, yeah, nah, this Raviel guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Toph and I will welcome you into the club of trying to predict what's going on. But regardless, Indonesia is up to pick next, and gonna have to wait and see what they decide to go for.
LN1 is open.
LN4 is also open. They haven't even looked at the protect.
I actually completely forgot, but you're right. LN4, the protect, is still wide open.
I could see it coming out here just to start this next phase off on the right foot.
Yeah, especially if you're Indonesia. You've lost 2 points in a row. You kind of want to get that momentum back.
Yeah. Now it's the break in case of emergency for them. similar to what we saw from Peru to get their first point on the board. And
they're still waiting on a player from Indonesia.
yeah,
I think regardless, it's still going to be either LN1 or LN4.
Rice won?
No, that's wait, is that Peru? Oh, no, that's
No,
Indonesia.
that's, yeah.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way they're going for Rice 1. What?
Hear me out. Rice 3 went so well for Indonesia. We just go into delay streams.
Okay, I mean, if Indonesia lose this and then Peru win the next point, they still have a pick. Like, Indonesia will still have a pick regardless of what happens on this map. But, like,
Yeah.
I thought you could just kind of have a momentum shift right now and just kind of... You have 2 LN maps open! I mean, I can definitely understand this Rice map being picked amongst the rest of the Rice maps. But once again, this is another roll of the dice.
Yeah, this one feels a bit olive branchy, but maybe less so in comparison to what I saw in Rice 3. It's like, it's risky. And we said it for Peru, it's like with the X3, it's like, it's risky. It could pay off massively though. This one, it's risky. It could pay off massively for Indonesia to start them off on the right foot here. And leave both of those LN picks up on the table for later on. Regardless of what happens here, they will get another pick, so...
I love matches like this, when everything is a risk.
Yes, there is no clear-cut avenue here. I think both teams have proven that they are more than capable of taking points off of their opponent's preferred picks. And we've seen it happen. We've seen leads evaporate. We've seen hard-in-mouth moments down to the wire. So, what's to say we're not in store for more?
Yeah, this is definitely on the relatively shorter side compared to the rest of the pool. It's only 2 minutes. It is going to be speed. So we're going to be seeing a lot of these kinds of very fast, streamy, and Grace Note-like patterns going around. She'll already be the first to fall. A couple of drops already.
Yeah, trace him back, and those are the 2 highest accuracies in the lobby, finding the misses here as Josia and Rav kind of duke it out on the bottom side of the lobby. Rav winning that exchange by about 0.2% as Shiu finds a drop into the transition into the second third of the map. It is 10,000 points of a lead for Indonesia to work with. So far, so good for them. Can they hang on for the back half here?
Yep, next transition we go. Accuracies are looking really strong on the side of Indonesia. Shield finds another miss. And we're already halfway through, and this is really not making a case for Peru to try and get a break point. And Shield's really struggling, and Josia will finally find the miss.
So far, paying off massively for Indonesia. One of the largest leads we've seen from them in a hot minute here. 26,000 points, but now Rav starting to find a couple of drops here. Shiu trading them back, and that's keeping the lead afloat for Indonesia. We've seen them capitulate leads like this before already, but with an 1/8 of the map left to go here, unless they both start finding massive drops here, Rav starting to shrink a little bit. Yeah, falls as well. It's 23,000 points.
There's almost nothing left in the map though. There's like maybe 10 seconds left for this 20,000 point lead. If it's not going to shrink, it's gonna stay. It does shrink a little bit of 15,000. But that was all of the buffer that they really need.
Yes.
They can lose 5,000 points and they still win it. Like, that's a very dominant display from Indonesia. If they rolled the dice, that's a D20 rolled 20 right there.
Yeah, a good way to start off the second half of the match. And it's gonna be Hybrid 3. What is happening?
Oh my gosh, what are you talking about? You know it's good because I just have to give supporter to 3 players instead of 4.
We're see. Okay.
Okay, wait.
Did we switch teams? Did we switch teams? In the second ban, it's like, what are we doing here? But they know something that we don't. It's like, at this point, I mean, it's the most physical map of the hybrid pool remaining outside of outside of maybe EX1. I don't know.
Thing is, like, this map still has some very tricky, like, L-lens and jacks. Like, that's a recipe for disaster if you're not really an L-lens based team.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Two big question marks for me, Chief. But so far, the team picking into the wild whatever we weren't expecting has come out on top. Like, EX3 worked out for Peru, Rice 1 worked out for Indonesia. Will Hybrid 3 work out for Peru here?
It feels like the world has just turned upside down, and now we're just kind of in that next phase of we're gonna pick wacky stuff that the commentators don't expect, and it's gonna somehow work.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. I'm all for being surprised.
This is chaos incarnate at this point. Alright, let's see how this one goes. This is technical hybrid. This is technically the only hybrid that either of these teams could have picked out of the hybrid pool. And we got a very lovely background as well. Yeah, let's see if Indonesia can get themselves up to 5 or if Peru can make it a best of 5.
And we get started with the only hybrid left in the pool. Very strong starts from everybody in the lobby so far. No early pitfalls, as I say that, Raph being the first one to blink, but it was just at that 400 combo cap, so it is going to bleed over a little bit of score to the side of Peru. It's just over 3 minutes, Josiah trades it back, and we're going to play a bit of tug of war going into this Ki section.
Incredible accuracy from at the start. They do drop a little bit from 0.7 to 0.6, down to 0.5. But Ravko with the misses, which means Peru is going to actually hold on to this lead for the time being just off of Shio's performance. And they drop, and it's traded. And that's no lead.
And right now, bit of role reversal here. Josiah trying to keep, in check. They're about 3/10 ahead right now, and that's helping Indonesia keep these leads in these exchanges. Shiu finding it under a drop. Josiah falls as well. Full combo reset on the side of Peru, but it's still only 4,000 points in favor of Indonesia as and Shiu trade on the top half of the lobby once again.
No one has any comfortable combo. And only has comfortable accuracy as Josiah is teetering right above the 99, down to a 98. Somehow Indonesia holding 16,000 points from that.
No half the map left to go here though. One bad section could turn that around, but the fact that now Peru doesn't have a towering accuracy to take advantage of Indonesian misses, it feels like for every 10th that they climb, they might start being able to make some inroads, but Shiu finding the first drop in the back half, not gonna make things any easier. It's 20,000 points now for Indonesia to work with.
Yeah, this is a very comfortable buffer, like you saw in the previous map. If Indonesia falter a little bit, they will still have that lead to fall back upon, and in fact, this lead will grow just from Josiah finding the drop, but it's going to be negated from Ravko.
Yeah, a couple of drops being traded back, but it's the accuracy from right now just really ensuring that Indonesia doesn't start bleeding the points over like we've seen in maps past. Yeah, it's a couple thousand every now and again when somebody finds a miss, but the fact that it's being traded back in spades is helping grow this lead for Indonesia. And Rav, I don't know about you, I don't think Hybrid 3 was the right pick here at the end of the day. An eighth of the map left to go here, 27,000 points in favor of Indonesia. A break point for them to start off this second half of the match is exactly what they needed to maybe right the ship a little bit, because they were teetering to make it 3-3. And yeah, that will do it. Indonesia will definitely hold on to this and make it a 5th point on the board. I think Peru are definitely trying to attack Indonesia's second player, and they definitely successfully did so on Ravko performing slightly behind Josiah, but they forgot to take into account of and that 966k. One of the main reasons
Why Indonesia now are 2 points away from matching up against Japan next week. Not next weekend, tomorrow actually.
All right, and now match dynamic changes because anybody that was keeping track of the IRC might have noticed Shiyu was racing against the clock, and the clock has struck midnight for them. They are no longer available for Peru. They've needed to go. It will be Divisa and Josiah trying to hang on as best as they can against Indonesia here.
We shall see what happens from here on out. Indonesia will have a pick first, and it's probably gonna be the LNs. Don't make me a fool again, Indonesia.
Well, I mean, now it's like Rice 1 worked in their favor. They still have their protect. I'm amazed that they haven't gone for the protect yet. That could make it a match point situation.
That feels like a guaranteed slam dunk.
Right? But
Yeah.
Peru's been competitive
Then-
on the LNs.
But then it's like, why not make Raviel sound like an idiot and go for Rice 2?
You know, I was gonna say maybe they go for Rice 2. Just because of how the core stream went, but I feel like the BPM decrease might play into Peru's hands a little bit more.
Oh my gosh.
All right, cool. how about
They can't win.
option D? Not even the
Option
two that
infinity.
we didn't even consider EX1 as a pick. So, all right.
What are you talking about?
Indonesia.
I mean, we get EOS original.
Yeah. Indonesia holds the cards here right now. The fact that they have the breakpoint to work with, they can get a little risky. And like I mentioned, Shiyu has left the building. They had to go. It's gonna be Divisa and Josiah. I fancy their chances on a Rice pick, or on a Rice-oriented pick, mind you. So I wouldn't count them out entirely. If it were LN4, then I'd be like, okay, I mean, Shiyu would be a really nice have, a nice inclusion, but we'll have to wait and see.
We will have to wait and see. This is a very interesting pick again from Indonesia. 2 LN maps still open, and yet they are still dabbling with Rice. Technically EX1. I believe it's more of the Rice oriented maps.
Yes. So, like I said, I if it were LN4, I'd be worried for Peru. Divisa and Josiah are incredibly strong Rice players. So, we'll have to wait and see how they do. I imagine, I mean, they will get another pick after this.
Yeah.
Do you see a world in which they go Rice 2, or do they go into the tech picks?
Well, at this point, it's kind of like strat book thrown out the window now that you don't have Shio. It's really just kind of what Divisa and Josiah find the most comfortable within themselves.
Yeah.
In that matter, maybe technical is gonna be fine. But I think at this point, it's kind of vibes picking.
Yeah. Well, let's wait and see. Like I said, don't count them out, but I imagine the hill has become a bit more of a mountain to climb for them. But well, let's wait and see. EX1, we're 3 for 3 on weird picks from these two teams.
I feel like a lot of these picks have just been weird. I think it's a majority of them have been weird.
Yeah,
But also a majority of them have kind of worked out.
for sure. So getting this one underway, Josiah finding a first miss, Divisa finding a couple of their own on their side, a couple of misses traded back from, yeah, but it's 11,000 points for Indonesia to work with out of this first quarter of the map.
Yeah, and we're also talking about the physicality of Peru being a strong point now that we're a bit later into the match, and also the fact that Shio had to be swapped out. we are gonna actually be seeing Indonesia take full control at the start.
Yeah, no FC's left in the lobby. Ravco's trying to find a couple of misses on those core jack sections, flying back into delay streams, but it's still 30,000 points for them to work with. The fact that Divisa's down into that 97, 96% range, just struggling to get a foothold in this map, really accounting for this lead that Indonesia has built up. 50,000 points now into the second third of the map.
Yeah, this is looking like a bloodbath with every passing second. Peru are really struggling to keep up, especially the Visa, now holding 96%. And this is the largest lead we've seen so far, even though Indonesia have also been picking up their own combo breaks themselves. We're now into a little bit of a break.
Yeah, just that physical ceiling for the third player for Peru here. And I mean, we alluded to it at the start, the fact that they don't have a fourth person as like a solidified backup compared to Indonesia, who could go in and around whoever they want, really, has been playing a factor here as we make it through into the last quarter of the map. 65,000 points. Yeah, and Rav struggled a little bit during that mini core jack section, able to bleed away a couple of points, but as the density begins to ratchet back up, Divisa and Josia finding a couple of misses of their own. A full team wipe on the side of Peru, starting to get answered back a little bit by Rav, but I mean, the damage has already been done. 70,000 points for Indonesia into this outro.
And once again, yeah, it's just pulling the string for Indonesia. Ravco is kind of matching with Josia, actually behind by quite a bit. But yeah, holding 99%, even though picking up a couple more combo breaks there. That's really going to be the reason, yeah.
They're so clean when they find the drops, and the fact that they're still hovering around that 99% mark, I mean, there's really nothing that Peru could do from that position. And Indonesia, match point, a date with Japan tomorrow on the line here, as Peru down to their last legs in this tournament.
Let's see what Peru would want to go for. The Rise 2 question mark.
Yeah, the pick strategy is just out the window right now. If it were Shiu, they'd probably be throwing out the pick right now. They would know what they would need to go for. But right now, this is a composition we've very seldom seen. It's usually reserved for core jack picks, but they're gonna go for Rise 2 here.
We're actually back to like normality. This is a normal pick from Peru.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, we expected them to go into Rice, and it's been a while since we've seen them go into Rice, so... I mean, this is the most standard Rice pick left in the pool, so...
yeah.
I could see them swinging a good team score on this. We'll have to see how the combo game kind of holds up here. If they do manage to combo their way through, how much damage to their accuracy they take in compensation. But with Ya and Ravco, it's kind of like they've been able to weather most of those storms, and now we're starting to really see the tide begin to turn, where it was Shiu pulling those punching above their weight type scores. Now it's Ya kind of overperforming in comparison to the rest of the lobby. See if that kind of performance can see them through the end here. A final break point potentially for Indonesia, but fighting for their tournament life here. It is Rice 2 to see if this match continues.
A shorter pick this time round, 2 minutes long. Then Scott stream, even though there will be some parts where these players will be having a bit of a break. But the ending of this map can get quite dense, and that might be a problem for some of these players, especially when stamina becomes a factor.
And just like that, Josia finding a chain of misses, a couple of 50s as well as they try to recover down into that 98% range. Going to give Indonesia about 12,000 points to work with here, as they're the only ones to have found a drop so far. The rest of the lobby holding on to the FC. Divisa falls as well, and the lead only grows for Indonesia now. 23,000 points and counting as we continue on into the back half of the map.
Yeah, a couple more misses across the board except for Ravco. We're already halfway through, 36,000 points of a lead. And this could be the start of the end for Peru's 7K World Cup journey this year. We do have about a minute remaining.
Yeah, third of the map left to go. One FC left in the lobby. Yeah, I found a drop at the end of that last segment, but still landing a great supporting score, still ahead in terms of accuracy in comparison to Divisa, the next closest counterpart. And 40,000 points is a heck of a cushion to work with as Divisa finds a drop going into this next KI section, the outro. Last quarter of the map, last quarter potentially for Peru here, as they're the only ones finding drops here. The FC still intact for Ravco. Indonesia looking on course to punch their ticket against Japan to determine who will try to make it to that podium position. Ravco finally falls, all the FC's gone in the lobby, but the match well and truly in hand for the Indonesians. As the last couple of notes rain down, they will win this match by a score of 7-3, knocking Peru out of this year's edition of the 7-Key World Cup.
We really have to sing our praises to this Peru story from the start of the 7K World Cup to where we are now.
Yeah.
Because it has been an absolute roller coaster of a journey. This is not a country that really produces many amazing OS players, let alone OS Mania players. The fact that they managed to get 6th in qualifier seeding and actually finish top 6 is a very impressive achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely have lived up to the billing. They have been a dark horse the last couple of years and able to hang around with the big boys. Unfortunate it had to end that way, but I mean, it is what it is. Indonesia, full credit to them, took advantage of the opportunities they were given, and I mean, one step away potentially from a podium finish. Just gotta go up against Japan, who pulled off the upset against China earlier today. That match will happen at 12 UTC tomorrow. The next match proper is going to be South Korea versus the Philippines on Sunday, 10 UTC. You do not want to miss it. Two of the only countries that have ever won a 7-Key World Cup going up against each other. We have already had one tiebreaker, a titanic clash between China and Japan. You do not want to miss that one in particular. But Rav, you got anything else left to add here before we sign off?
Yeah, I believe if you do want to support any of the teams in the 7K World Cup, be it eliminated or still in contention to win the whole tournament, you can go over to the OS store and purchase some banners. If you'd like to elaborate more on that, Sparky?
Absolutely. You can head on over to the O Store, and for the low cost of $2.50 USD, you can buy yourself a banner. This is the last weekend you can do so. Once we hit grand finals, they are permanently closed for the 7-Key World Cup. If you have decision paralysis like me, you can buy multiple banners. You can buy all 32 if you want to. And if you manage to pick the winning team, whether by virtue of playing the field or by sniping that one winner, you get to keep that banner just a little bit longer the rest of the year. There's so many more World Cups to come, and you get to keep it on your profile for just that much longer. So why not pick up 1, 2, or even 32 today? Until then, we'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, we'll see all of you back in 17 hours for South Korea versus Philippines.